What's up, KELLIEBREW'S.com? My name is Leon Calvin Mack, and today I'm going to be chatting with the one, the only singer, songwriter, TV star, AminaBuddafly. First off, how are you?
I'm great. I'm awesome. I'm feeling good. My album is out, and yeah, I'm in this place.
Yes. Yeah, I meant to ask you about that because you have been like grinding, like on the hustle for this album that you just put out, which is amazing.
Thank you.
Oh. So what's been your favorite part of releasing this album and going on this press run?
The favorite part, I think, would be the release date when it was finally here, because it was, it's always stressful when you put out music as an independent artist and you do everything yourself, preparation, and in my case, even production. And, it was very stressful. Like I guess the entire 2018, I was just like constantly doing stuff for the album. And it seemed like it was never ending. But then finally I had all the songs done, and then it went into the mixing process, and that's always stressful for me too, because I'm very specific with my song. So, up until I had everything ready, cover, shoot, done, and, did all the artwork, and everything was finally, the day finally came, I think now I can breathe. Now I'm like, and nothing to worry about for now. I have other things that I'm planning for shows and stuff coming up, but right now, I'm a little relieved because it's over, the production at least.
So the album is called Mother. I have to ask, how was your Mother's Day since that holiday just passed?
It was beautiful. I was in New York promoting the album because it came out that day, so I had a couple of appearances that day. But it was beautiful. I spent half the day with my kids, and then I went and made my round. But I had a good day. Yeah, it was great. It was exciting to see all the people that gave me feedback and said they downloaded and were excited for me. So yeah, I had a great day.
Now from being a mother to taking it back to where it all started for you, I hear that you actually started singing before you even learned how to talk.
Yes, that's what my mom always says, and it's so crazy. It reminds me of this one, my daughter Bronx. She does this same thing. She says maybe like 3-4 words, but she sings every melody to every song. Even if she just hears it once, she can repeat a melody. And yeah, she's singing Itsy Bitsy Spider right now. It's so crazy because that's basically what my mom says I used to do. So yeah, it's like music is like in our blood.
That's amazing. And then of course you went on to form this amazing music group with your sisters, your twin sister Jazz and older sister Sophie, called Black Butterfly. Now you guys were originally signed to BMG Germany, correct?
We were. That was, oh my God, that's so long ago. I was 15 years old. We were signed in Germany to BMG. But it was kind of like the beginning of us finding out about the music business and how hard it really is to like deal with all these people. And it's not all, it's not all positive and great. And like, have to do a lot of compromise. And it was the beginning of us learning all that. So especially in Germany, we were never happy really with the music. So that's why we ended up in the States. And then, we ended up getting signed again in America to Def Jam. And years later, I had a third major deal with J Records. That was just me and my twin Jazz. At the time, we were a duo. But yeah, man, we went a few times to major labels, and it just never really got me the big success that I thought a big label would bring me. So now being older and looking back on everything, I feel like I'm happier being independent because I'm free and I can just do everything on my terms, and just the freedom as an artist is so important to me. So, I mean, it has its good and bad being with the label. Being independent also is harder, but I kind of prefer it right now, at least for right now, because I need to do me, and I'm not really willing to compromise as far as creativity and artistry. So yeah, I guess the best way for me to go right now is indie, and I made it happen. I put out another album.
You did. You're doing you, and you are doing it well. That's so crazy. Coming here from Germany, what was like the biggest challenge for you?
I mean, in the beginning, one big challenge was the language, because my English was really bad. I was super shy, and like it was me, my sister Jazz, and my older sister Sophie, and Sophie was the one that would always talk to everyone because her English was better, and she's older, she was more mature and not as shy. So the language was a big thing. And leaving in Germany, we thought, oh, we know English, like we learned it in school, and we were singing in English for years. But then when we got to New York, it was like different kind of swag. The way people talk much faster. It's like, it wasn't the English that we were taught in school. So I was like so intimidated. And then another thing, I guess, trying to figure out where we belong, because we're, me and my sisters, we're biracial. So we're from Europe. Our mom's white. We grew up around all white people, but then our skin color is black. So initially, like coming to America, we a black group. We R&B, we hip hop. So we kind of got thrown into that, and then we loved it, but at the same time, it wasn't all the way us because we were also still European and a little different. So, we weren't from the hood. So it was kind of like hard to fit in sometimes. And because we even music-wise, because we were influenced by so many different genres of music, and sometimes it was hard, even I think for the label in the beginning, to figure out what are we? Are we pop? Are we R&B? But we always felt like we're everything. We're all of those things mixed together. We are we make world music. It wasn't like necessarily just R&B. So that's where, when we were signed to Russell Simmons, I feel like he only covered a part of us, which was the R&B side, which was dope, but there was just so much more to us. So it was a little confusing at times. And that was a challenge, to kind of figure that out. But it was a learning experience being signed, and now, especially after doing it for so long and kind of being a solo artist and learning to play instruments myself, like I really developed my own lane, and I feel like so comfortable knowing who I am as an artist. And yeah, it's been great. I mean, now I finally feel like I've arrived. This is me, and especially the album Mother is definitely 100% me. And yeah,
I love that. And I love how much you embrace your European roots. I remember seeing a picture of you on Instagram, and I think the Shade Room reposted it, and it was a picture of you posing nude. Your daughter was in the foreground, and I heard people like making a big stink about it, but it was just
recent one.
Yes, it was very recent, and it was just you just being just in your natural state around your daughters, your beautiful daughters, and just embracing your body the way that you should do to teach your daughters to love themselves as well.
Yeah, I guess it's just a different world now, especially social media. Even though, on the other hand, like so many girls that are always naked on their IG. So I'm like, what's the big deal? But for me in general, I'm just that's how I grew up. Like, it's nothing wrong with that. So I didn't see anything wrong with the picture. And even now, like I hear that people tell me, oh, everyone was going in, but I didn't read the comments. If it's so much and so much judging going on, like I just turn off. I don't read it. I should have probably turned off the comments too, but they would still be there on the Shade Room anyway. But I don't care what people say. I feel comfortable. I feel good about who I am, and I'm good about my kids and the kind of mother that I am. And so it doesn't matter what anyone says.
That's right. I love that. Now, you said Def Jam, and it didn't even dawn on me because I was just so immersed in like researching you and your history, of course. But it didn't dawn on me that you would have to, cross paths with, of course, Russell Simmons. With everything that's been happening lately, were you shocked by the recent allegations that have come out against him?
Yeah, good question, because it came up, somebody asked me that the other day, and I was totally shocked because we, back in the day, this is now probably 11 years ago, 12 years ago, that we were, he signed us, Russell signed me and my sisters as his first group on his then new label, RSMG, and we were traveling with him. We were around him all the time, and I never had an experience like that with him, first of all, and I never even saw him like that. So it was definitely surprising and shocking, and I almost commented on it too on Twitter, like, that's not the Russell that I know, because I really didn't. I never thought, never had that image of him.
Wow. Well, getting back to you, on a lighter note, from Black Butterfly, you launched into solo stardom with Love and Hip Hop, of course, where we know you from. Yes. And what I love about your path so far is that, What I love about your path is that I remember about 2 years ago you put out a book titled The Other Woman.
Yes.
And just really putting out your side of the story and just really putting a twist on that label that people try to force upon you from the public. And now you have put out this amazing album called Mother. I want to know, what was that journey like, getting from that place of the label that the public wants to put on you, the other woman, to reclaiming your power as mother?
Right. I feel like that is part of the reason why I felt the need to share so much and write that book and then make another album, because that's the way I express. I'm not really good at talking, and like, you know, it's like art. So music was always my go-to, but then, you know, when it was so crazy with the show, there was too depressed to make music, and that was very frustrating. It was a really hard time. I had just moved from New York to California, and I tried to turn to music, but it didn't work, and that made me so sad. So it was the time when I started just writing my thoughts, and it wasn't in song form. It ended up becoming the book, which was my own therapy, because, you know, you just need to release. When you go through something, I feel like whatever way, if you're a dancer, dance, like any kind of way, you have to release. So I needed to, even though I wasn't able to make music, I needed to write and just write it down and write my story. And I'm still like so proud of this book because it's so real and honest, and I feel so good about it. And the people that read it, I have so much feedback from women that, you know, had their opinion before, and then after reading the book, they have another opinion of me, and that's all I ever wanted, because I felt just misunderstood a lot on TV, and I felt like this label was being put on me, that I'm like this bad person, and all these things that I didn't feel like I am. So I just wanted to put it out there for whoever is interested, and yeah, so I got my book, The Other Woman, and it doesn't just talk about the show; it's also about me and the show, you know. So yeah, that's why I felt the need to share it. And same with Mother, same with the album. Finally, I found inspiration again, you know, through my kids. That's why the name Mother, but they were a big inspiration and motivation for me to make another album. And it took me like almost a year, so yeah, that's why it's also very special to me, because it was a long process.
Well, it was definitely well worth it. Now, since the album is Mother, I have to ask about the father. Now, you guys have had a very public relationship, and a lot of you're just always in the public eye, you know, and people have always had something to say.
Yeah.
It seems like you guys are in a much better place now, now that you guys have separated, filed for divorce. I wanted to know, though, through writing this album and creating this album, how did he influence the tone of it?
Not at all. Zero. He had to do it. Yeah, that's the crazy thing, because people still say, "Oh, you still thinking about that man?" Like, no, absolutely not. Actually, some songs do talk about, you know, me letting go of that relationship and what it made me become, and, you know, so it does in a way have to do with him and the relationship, but there's not one song directly, you know, about him. Or so it's like, while I was making this album, it wasn't like he wasn't on my mind. You know, my life hadn't been around about him anyway. Like, at the time I started the album a year ago, I was already living by myself, you know, for a while, and I had already let go a long time ago. So he really didn't, and he didn't even get to hear anything, you know. Normally he's always one of the first people that I send demos to or ideas, and I didn't send him anything. He heard the album last week when it came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, we saw you on Marriage Boot Camp. It was one of my favorite seasons, by the way. That was a really good season.
Good.
In that season, we also saw not only you and Peter's relationship, but also how your relationship intersected with his other children's mother, Tara. I was wondering, you know, being a mother, being that we're celebrating mothers with this album, and how strong you guys are. How is that relationship with you and Tara?
It's now good, because I think we're all like so in the past for us now. Like, we're all over it. At least I am, definitely. You know, have moved on from all the negative, and anger that we might have had, towards one another. So I've just completely moved past it, and I just now look at her as me, and I couldn't care less like about what she's doing with whom or with Peter or not. Like I literally, it feels good to not have to worry about that, because I used to always wonder like, maybe are they back together? Like even if they were now, which I don't think, but I don't know. I'm the wrong person to ask, but I would care. Like I would, wish them well. Like so that's why I feel like I want to have a good relationship with her, because I know that our kids, they need to be their brothers and sisters. So
Exactly.
at the end of the day, it's all for the kids. So, yeah, and then I just left New York, and we spent time together with the kids, and we finally could leave that in the past.
That's beautiful. I love that. I know there's other Love and Hip Hop stars like Alexis Sky and Masika who are not having the best of a relationship right now, but their children are also siblings. Do you have any advice on how to co-parent in that situation?
No, I think theirs is still a little fresher. So I feel maybe eventually they will also become like, to get over it. I think time heals a lot of things. So in a few years, I would hope for them that the kids are what's most important. So I would hate to see them forever like beefing like that. So but I don't know. You are as a person. I'm very forgiving in general, so you don't know. But I would love to see that for them too. So, but again, so you can't rush it.
Now, I just have to bring it up again because I was watching it. I tried to watch it for a second time. The title track "Mother," the video for it.
Yeah.
The second time, I had to turn it off. It was too beautiful.
Really?
Like
dang.
I'm a grown man and I was about to cry.
My God.
Yeah, so
That's awesome.
it was really pretty. Just you.
A lot of people say it's an emotional video, and that's good that it, because that's awesome. So it's a good thing.
Yes, just you and the piano, and then seeing you with the other mothers. I saw a cameo from April Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love it.
Yeah, she's just like me out here in LA with her two. Her kids are my kids' age, so we connected on that level as moms.
Oh, I love that. And then you both come from the Love and Hip Hop franchise too.
Yeah.
So,
right.
if you could choose any other Love and Hip Hop, past or present cast member, who would it be to collaborate with? Who would you want to collaborate with?
It'd probably be someone like Remy, like New York. I have to go with the New York girls, just because that's like it, and I feel like, and I would probably want it to be a female too, just because I've hardly done that. The only features I've done is with my sisters. The only one I got is my sister Jazz, and then I have one other, my friend Novel, who's a great producer and artist. But I would have to say that I think it would be that. What singers do as female? I would have to think about that one.
I could see Remy spitting a hot 16 on a song, like that voice of yours, and then her coming in with that raw edge. I see that. So, what song on the album was the most emotional for you to write and perform, and why?
Most emotional. I think my favorite one, number 7 on the album. It's my favorite song because of what it says and what it's about. Correctly, but it's like so deep to me because it basically talks about how my kids are always on my mind, how they're the ones that never leave my mind. Like I could be anywhere, because sometimes I travel for work, so I'm always constantly thinking about where they're at and what they're doing, and if they're it's just nothing. It's just so weird since I've become a mother. It's like it's just all you worry about. I think all mothers can relate, and it's my favorite song. And as I was writing it, I didn't even have the attention, because I don't write songs like, oh, let me write about this. the way I write songs that become my favorites all the time is like, I have this music, I have to have some music and some chords to get inspired, and then it just comes out, it just starts coming out, and to write about stuff. It just comes to me, and that's why those songs are the most special to me, and that was one of those, Die With You.
I love that. So you famously worked with Fabulous back in, I want to say 2006, I believe, with your group.
2006, we had him on our single Bad Girl.
Yes.
And that was exciting. I mean, we actually be there when he was recorded it. Like he put his verse down one night. We weren't even in the studio. The next day we came to the studio and our producer said, "Oh, Fab put a verse on this," and we were just like, "Oh, cool, okay." That's how it went.
Now, being that you're no stranger to having your relationship under public scrutiny. What is your take on his situation right now with the current rumors and allegations with him and Emily B?
And it's like, I hate talking about things that I hear in the media because you never know if it's true or not. But
exactly.
And then they're still together, back together, happy family. But I just, man, it's hard to say because when you're not in it, it's hard to say. Because I wasn't something everyone told me to get out of. So it's hard to say, oh my God, this is so bad. I don't know really what really went down. But if it's true that he that man, that's like the worst. Even though like mental abuse can be really bad too, I used to feel like it's almost worse. So it's like, it's hard to have an opinion on that, but I just hope it's not true.
Same here. So I honestly, like seeing your life right now, seeing you hold your daughter, knowing like how hard you work, I would love to see this represented back on TV. Would you ever do another reality show?
Yes, I would, but I would want people to see this and me and what I really do and what my life is about now. And I wouldn't feel like I have to come up with some crazy stuff just so they're interested in me. Like I would, if someone was interested in my real life and what I do every day, which I do think is interesting because people love watching my Insta stories, and it's like almost like, I get so many messages and comments every day about how much they love following my story and me with my kids, and I would totally do that. But it would have to be kind of more on my terms and showcase more of my music and really what my life is about now. So I wouldn't say no to that.
So no more Love and Hip Hop vibes, the fighting and drink throwing and things of that nature.
I mean, Love and Hip Hop. I'm not even saying never, but again, they would have to. I wouldn't want to have to all be dating someone to get in the show. Like that's how I feel it is almost. Like if I was dating somebody that's a little famous or that's on one of those shows, they would definitely want me on there. But I'm not, so I'm not pressed to be on a TV show. I'm not desperate to be on it. It's like I would go back to it if it was the right situation. But other than that, I'm good. I mean, I have other things to do. I have other things that I want to do, and I have so much more to offer. So I'm good with or without,
Well, if we can have a Tiana and Iman, I think we could definitely see you and your two girls and how cute that is.
Right. I wouldn't even be mad if it was something about me finding somebody new, because I am totally excited about dating again. But it would have to include also my life and what I do as a single mom. I wouldn't want to do only a dating show, just the dating part. I would also want to show me, being good without somebody. But I'm just, I'm open to it again, and it's kind of exciting to think about it. So I be open to it, but we'll see.
So what does Amina look for in a guy?
Man, it's like, for me, what's really important is if I really want to get serious with somebody, they have to get me. They have to understand me. They have to get me as a person and get me as an artist and get my music. I don't think I could be with somebody that doesn't get my music, because it's me, It's like, or somebody that just is into other styles of music. Like, it's so important to me. It's such a big part of my life. They would have to really get me. And then, of course, I would want that chemistry. I want that, I want that attraction, which is hard because apparently what I'm attracted to is not good for me. But yeah, so I have to be careful with that. But I want to be attracted to whoever I'm dating. And I don't know, I just like someone that can teach me something. I like somebody smart, wise. That's why I always go to the older men. Like, I feel like they're just wiser, more experienced, and I like that. I'm attracted to that. So, yeah, it needs to be something that can teach me some things, that knows some things that I don't know. Yeah.
That's awesome. In the music business?
Don't have to be, but again, they have to get me, my music.
Yeah.
They have to understand me as an artist.
That's all that really matters. Yes. So one last final question I just have to know, because again, this is beautiful. Like, this is why I couldn't watch the Mother's video. Like, I almost shed a thug tear. Like, it's really emotional. What is your proudest moment as a mom?
Proudest moment as a mom, I think, oh my God, so many, but I think like one of the bigger decisions that I made, which would be moving away with my kids, because at the end of the day, I did it for them. I did it for my kids because I knew that I needed to be well and happy to be a good mom. And because in the place that I was in 2 years ago, I didn't feel like I'm in the best shape to be a good mom. So I needed to take care of me to be there for them. So, and that's what I did by moving away. That was the first step. And I feel like now definitely it was the right decision. And yeah, I mean, even though initially I did it for myself to get well, to get better, but I was thinking about my kids when I made that decision. So I think I'm proud of myself for that, for making that big step, because not many would have done that. Not many women that I know would have done that, just pack up by themselves, pregnant with one and having a 1-year-old, and just like leaving to a new city without family and just kind of starting all over. It's hard, so I guess I'm proud of me for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, your strength alone is just inspiring. And we salute you, we uplift you, and you are clearly thriving. We're just so happy to have you, and so thankful that you are speaking with us.
Sometimes people see it through my, just what I post and all the, social media is, you can't really laugh at that, but it really reflects like what I put out there, what it really is. So I like the fact that people are starting to see like, who I really am now, and yeah, it feels good.
Yes. Oh, almost forgot. What else can we expect from this Mother album? What's the next visual?
Okay, so I'm working on something for one of my other favorite songs, Not a Lover After All. It's going to be a visual for that. And then after that, possibly the song with my sister, Unbothered, because I feel like a lot of people gravitate to that one. And then I'm planning on doing a third, so I don't know. Maybe I may do visuals for all of them.
Yes.
I may just keep going.
Yes.
But yeah, for
Booked
now I
and
have
busy.
2 ideas.
Yes, always booked and busy. We are so excited to see more from you, Amina. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Thank you so much. It was fun. Oh my goodness. Now she wants my attention now.
She can have it. Thank you so much.